Good morning, everyone. It's the time to go home. Doctor just removed the blood bag, and I'll be going home shortly. I've been thinking about the quote from that is quite often attributed to Betty White, when in fact it actually never was. People have said her quote. Why do people say girls and balls are weak and sensitive? If you want to be tough, grow a vagina. Those things can take a pounding. Well, even though she actually never said that, I did grow a vagina, matter of speaking. But it is a pretty tough process, and all joking aside, it took a lot to get to the point where you can be comfortable with oneself. And even though I wanted it, have it done 5 years ago and even sooner. There's a lot more that goes into it. We talk about being tough as a thing, but sometimes being tough is dealing with the scars of your past, dealing with healing, dealing with the life, living life on life's terms. For me, I had to overcome trauma, abuse, PTSD, mental health stuff. I had to get to a point where I could mentally handle this. It wasn't as simply as just doing the surgery, not simply as just being me and what I wanted. The fact comes down to it, when it comes down to today, is I've had to have my sobriety in check. I had to have my life in check, know where I'm going, have a good circle of friends and support systems, and really just to be able to be present, because it's a lot, it changes a lot, and it doesn't eradicate a whole life that one has had before, so there's a lot of things, periods of adjustment, things that one has to go through in order to be able to get to this point. This is not something I would recommend anybody to take lightly. It's something that it should be thought out. It is painful. But for some people, they think that might be the solve-all answer. It's not. Even I can say, this having this done is not a solve-everything answer. For me, it's fixing something that needed to be fixed, but I had to work on fixing the insides first. I had to work on loving myself. I had to work on being part of myself, and then just allow everything else to fall into place. So, I could, take other jobs in the future, or go to different places, or move different places, not have to worry necessarily about outing stuff medically or anything, or traveling or stuff like that, But with that said, it's given me a wonderful opportunity just to be able to know myself, know who I am. If I was in my addiction, this would not have been possible. Again, I said this in previous, there would have been animosity. I would have bred, regrets. And that's not the case. And I'm looking forward to this next journey. There's a lot more things that come with this that, I don't know if people think about, but, it's almost like living all over again, because one of the things is like, when it comes time, I have to decide, who do I let the first one contact? Do I allow things to be messy in relationships, or do I wait for relationships, or how do you reconcile and choose who to be a first in a lot of ways? There's a lot of things, that is completely different, ways of living. I'm going to have to learn to pee a different way, even though I always sit down on the toilet. Anyways, it's going to be messier. It's going to be a lot different. There's going to be odors to get used to. There's going to be many things that, one may not necessarily think about ahead of time. I do all my research, so I went into this knowing a lot, but it's still a lot I'm going to have to learn, and as I was saying, this does not solve everything. For me, I'm going to have to be truthful and honest with my partners, still. I'm going to have to be truthful and honest with, who I am, and my past and my present, my wholeness, and that's probably the greatest thing I have moving forward with this, is, one of my program of recovery, but I get to, keep honesty in all that I do, and be open, and keep dialogue, because, I need to give people a chance to make their own informed consent decisions, versus taking away their consent. You know, just because bodily appearances may show one thing, you know, some people may not like that idea. And, you know, and that's their right. And I can't take that from them, or I can't force myself upon anybody. You know, I'm glad I can live a life of honesty. I'm glad I don't have to hide anything. And I'm glad I'll be able to be present and just go through this. You know, it's going to be different. You know, but at least I get to learn a new way of doing it, and without taking hostages, and without taking being captured. You know, consent is a major thing, and you know, this is where it comes into play now. Consent is going to be the new rule. Everything has to be consent. You know, and that is something that's really good. So thank you guys very much, and I'll talk to you later. Yep.